Are there any plans for you to serve in the upcoming Trump administration?
None.
That's it. That was easy. All right. What would you like to see happen then moving forward?
No, I'm a little tongue in cheek, but right now I don't have any plans, and you know I'm a bit of a lightning rod, because I'm not I can be a member of a team for sure, and Trump knows this, but there's going to be a lot of tension moving forward here because it's not so much the Democrats. We kind of know. When I say the Democrats, I don't use that word anymore. I try not to because it doesn't exist. The Democrat Party, this left of our country that has grabbed hold, this chokehold of what used to be, a party that had ideas, big government, more taxes kind of ideas, and other things. The establishment now, I think, is where Trump, and I do know that because I've heard him say it enough now, that he's learned a lot of lessons. And so, but there's going to be great tension to say we got to keep things moving in a certain direction, right? I mean, I don't know if you know this, but 2 days ago, this administration is talking about sending another $6 billion over to Ukraine.
Yeah, they want to do it before the end of the year.
I mean, that's insane. Why? I mean, it's a what, $6 billion? Just go put it out in the parking lot out here and light a fire on it.
I mean, that really does indicate that it is about about corruption, about money laundering more than anything else.
So I use that example, Phil, because there's a tension in Washington D.C., and that tension is Trump is I like the fact that he chose Susie Wiles as his chief, and she's going to be she's a great trusted advisor of him. He totally trusts her. She's a great person. So the people that will swarm around Washington, D.C. at this moment in time are going to be people from Washington, D.C. I mean, I don't live in Washington, D.C., so I'm not driving up there and hanging out at the meetings, and going, okay, it's people from, that swamp.
Yeah, they were 250,000 to 20,000. Kamala Harris votes in Washington D.C. 250,000 for her, 20,000 for Trump.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. I think it was 93% or 95%.
That just speaks to the fact that D.C. is entirely captured.
Completely.
I mean,
by
there's
one
so
party,
many,
but it's the Great Society programs. I mean, going back to when the Democrats changed, it wasn't the Kennedys it was the Johnson Great Society programs, right, pushing us probably more towards this socialist stagnant model.
Yeah.
And as you know, back in the 80s, they already started talking about this controlled demolition of America,
right?
Economically,
right.
Basically, it's like we're going to be a stagnant socialist,
and that's
country.
all real. Those aren't conspiracy theories. Those are things that are real. So, I think what we've learned and what I've seen, certainly in the world of the social media and these great minds that we have out there, and you guys are included in that, because I find like this level of brilliance in these people that have really, there's a lot of podcasters, and I love them all, but there are some, because of their ability to communicate, study, research, be prepared, and do all the things that you need to do to be really successful. And we have a bunch of them. Those are the type of people, and there's other business leaders. I mean, I don't know them. I've never met them. I've seen them, and I've responded to them on X at times. This Bill Ackman as an example, right? Cardone is another guy. I mean, Elon's another one of these types of people that have risen up. Vivek Ramaswamy, I mean, another guy that has risen up. There's other leaders in our midst, right? And what I want people to do, and this gets to the heart of your question, Tim, about me, what I want to see is more leaders that are not from the political establishment. And if there's some great former military leaders, great. If there's business leaders, which I know there are, that are running great organizations, and they know, they're Trump-like in their abilities, maybe not in their mindset and sort of how he operates, but there are great leaders, and that's what I want to see come into the government, and I would love to see, and I know like places like the Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary of Commerce, those are going to be huge picks for Trump, and they should come from a place of leadership as well as intellect in those sort of worlds, right? Commerce and Treasury. Same with all these other really the critical departments. Some of the departments need to be completely eliminated, but that's what I want to see. And I think that I know that Trump has these relationships. Now it's a matter of somebody saying, I'm going to put my life aside because this is what you have to do. Okay? And this is a tough thing because people go, I don't know. I got two examples of two very, very successful people who both of them wanted two really prominent jobs, in the previous administration. And when it came down to the nut cutting time, they backed away because their egos got in the way of the mission.
But I think for most people, it's sacrificing for something beyond them, and it's difficult for most people.
Bobby Kennedy, he if there is an example of a modern day founding father putting country before self, it's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That man, he could have stayed in there and said, "Screw it, I'm going to fight." I mean, I watched him very closely as he was, coming in and doing the things, and I'm studying them, and I was always a big fan of the whole Kennedy experience, right? I mean, got different issues, but when I saw him coming in, I'm like thinking, okay, this is an interesting dynamic. And he's going after a big issue, which is a huge issue for all Americans. And then all of a sudden, because he sat there and he stood there in a couple of stages and said, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. And then he realized, I think it's like the old light switch comes on, and he realized that this party that he used to be part of, that he had to jump away from and go independent, he realized these people are evil. I mean, this is evil.
Yeah.
Talk about spiritual warfare. But this is not the old Democrat Party. This is evil. And he finally, whatever that moment was, he said, I can't allow this country to go, this way. Because personally, I don't think if Bobby Kennedy came over to the Trump camp because the independent numbers that I've seen are pretty high for Trump. He got a lot of independents. And I kind of, maybe that's the Kennedy effect. There'll be an analysis of that, I'm sure, for a long time. But he is an example. Whatever people want to think about Bobby Kennedy, whatever his background is, he rose to the occasion like our founders rose to the occasion, and he put country before self because he'd have been destroyed like everybody else had the results been different.
What do you think about Tulsi Gabbard?
I know her. Yeah, I know her. I met her. I like her. I think that she's got extraordinary talent. She's super smart. I'd like her, for the fact that she served in the military, and has sort of done it very, very with dignity and honorably. I don't know. I can see Trump, because all this business about women, right? And it's not to put a woman in charge of it because she's a woman. I'm now talking about the Department of Defense. Mm-hmm. I think that because we haven't had a female as the Secretary of Defense, right? Appointed. We've had acting at times, but so I don't know if that's the way Trump is heading, because you can always, her experiences with big organizations and is not there. And I would say that, and I would let her know that. But you can put good people around that leader, because she's got, I think, extraordinary leadership skills. She's a type of person that, like I say, leadership, you don't have to be an old, general and you're a leader. You can be a great leader, at a very young age. Maturity has nothing to do with age, and neither does leadership skills and qualities. And she's got those kind of skills and qualities. I don't know if Trump is going in that direction, but I actually would find that, if that's his decision on something like that, I would say, yep, good decision. Now build the team around her and because there is extraordinary levels of reform that need to happen in our military.
Let me ask you just some, I guess, more simpler questions, I suppose. The first one, just for context, is how long did you serve for?
I served for about 33 and a half years.
I'm just curious, reaching the rank that you did,
Yeah.
was it very political? Are you navigating these, the opinions of people who may be wrong to try and earn points, or how does that work?
Yeah. Like you're asking, like, how many asses do you need to kiss?
Yes, exactly.
How much freedom do you have to have your own opinion, really?
Yeah.
Because I understand that, like,
I was trying to be more academic with it.
Well, no, don't be academic. Your audience is like going, what the hell, So, because you're just not that way. I mean,
Did you have to kiss ass?
No. Now, do you? Do people do that? You damn right they do.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon. So subscribe and come hang out.